Thank you for staying with us on the Sports Max Zone as we talk the NBA. This segment sponsored by Dasani Powerade and Minute Maid. Now, Kevin Durant finally made his debut for the Phoenix Suns following his blockbuster trade from the Brooklyn Nets as they visited Charlotte to take on the Hornets, who gave some court time to the Bahamian Kai Jones last night. We have the highlights.
Phoenix Suns and the Charlotte Hornets, welcome to your new team, KD. His first game since January 8th, his first game in a Suns uniform. That's his first bucket with his new team. Sure enough, wouldn't be his last. KD at it again. 11-0 Suns run to start the game. His new teammate, MVP finalist last year, Devin Booker, hits the jumper. Dennis Smith Jr. getting to the bucket. He makes it a three-point game at the end of the one. Speaking of threes, KD raining them. Then KD inside the arc, just as dangerous. This, not a replay. Looks identical. Same spot, same result. KD at it again. He wasn't the only Suns player hitting jumpers. There's DeAndre Ayton inside the paint. Soft touch. Phoenix ahead by 16 at the break. CP3 to Devin Booker. We've seen that a few seasons now. Then Booker running the floor, getting rewarded. KD with the touchdown pass. Booker, 17 points in the third quarter alone. He had 37 in the game. Still, Charlotte trying to mount a comeback. Terry Rozier getting downhill. Kelly Oubre Jr., 2 of his 26, the strongest finish. Check it out one more time for your mind. We move to the fourth quarter. KD takes the contact and keeps connected. KD closing it out for the Suns. 23 points in just 27 minutes. Phoenix wins 105-91, your final score. They're actually 13-5 over their last 18 games and undefeated with Kevin Durant in the lineup.
Yeah, good win there by the Phoenix Suns, and KD beating a team, the Charlotte Hornets, who are on a 5-game winning streak. Suns leading from start to finish. Our NBA expert Alistair Albert joins us now. Alistair, first of all, assess KD's first outing as a Phoenix Suns player.
Impressive. You know, it's really good to see him back on the court again after, taking that little time off the injury that he had. And, he looks good. What was really impressive about that highlight you just saw right there was just the amount of attention he commands, basically. That opens up the lanes at the shooting angles for Devin Booker, Chris Paul and everything. And even just looking at the box score, Chris Paul didn't have to do very much. He just had only 2 points, but he had 11 assists. And, it just kind of shows the impact of having someone like Kevin Durant on the team. CP3, if they had lost that game, right up coming against a hot Charlotte Hornets team who had won the last 5, like you mentioned, it would have been devastating for them, at this point of the season. Why can't you beat a team like this? So it's good to see that, Kevin Durant just opens up and just brings that attention and fresh air to the offense, and they could kind of go from there.
Yeah, you talk, Alistair, about the impact, but another narrative coming out of last night's opener for him in his new outfit is how easily he slots in with new players and almost immediately finding some chemistry. That has to be something positive for KD as a player.
That's true, but what I would say to that is there's a lot of background stuff happening that we are not really always privy to. Yeah. While during the All-Star break, whilst he was there to cheer on and watch what was going on. After the break, at the few days that they had left over, KD actually didn't go on vacation. He was in Phoenix training. He was trying to get himself right, trying to get his conditioning right. And Devin Booker actually also stayed. This guy didn't even take a break during that time off when most people try to come to the Caribbean, go to Mexico, take some breaks with their family to try to rejuvenate. And what it was really important for those two offensive leaders of this team to get on the same page, try to understand, where their sweet spots are, where they like ball delivered to and everything. And it was really good to see they stay back to kind of help build that chemistry. So yes, it is slotted in really easily, but they have some level of familiarity from playing in USA basketball and having this little mini training camp over the All-Star break to try to get acquainted. So, it looked easy, but there's a lot of background work going on there too.
Right, and Alistair, I think it also has a lot to do with the style that KD plays. He's not the type of player that will hog the ball or, of course, needs to have the ball at all times to ensure that the team does well. I think with him, he actually makes the players around him a better player. And remember, KD is a man who's done this for so many times. He has the accolades to his name. So I think he commands that respect in a dressing room and helps improve the players around him.
Absolutely. You hit the nail right on the head. And what happens there as well is, longevity and historical reps help him in this situation. Let's all remember, Kevin Durant's played with one of the best teams ever in the Golden State Warriors, joined in the 73-9 team, who had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, Draymond Green facilitating as a point forward, and the greatness and the brilliant coaching mind of Steve Kerr. So he knows what it is to be in an egalitarian offensive system where not one person has to dominate the ball and be the savior every time. This is the type of basketball he loves to play, being with guys, a point guard who could, set the table for him. And, he doesn't have to bring the ball up each time. He can just pick his spots and everything. And having some other shooters around him, a guy like Devin Booker, who, let's remember, also scored 70 points some seasons back. Yes. And DeAndre Ayton, who could command some attention in the middle. It allows him a lot of space to operate. And even with that space, he still saw guys collapsing on him on defense because of the attention he commands and the respect, like you just mentioned, that he commands on the court as well. He doesn't have to lead. Monty Williams, the coach of that team, said they don't want KD to come in here to try to be any sort of vocal leader. They just want him to be himself. Chris Paul and him are there to be the leaders, and allowing him to just be himself on the court is just perfect for him. And this is what you see with that. A product of someone who's just comfortable in a system, and with more games, he'll get even better. The team itself will become more dangerous.
Right, and on the night, Devin Booker had 34 points. We know the pressure that Devin Booker was under, just, trying to lead his Suns team, and they've been doing well. Now that KD comes in, do you get the sense that, Devin Booker, his game will open up a bit because, he has that help from a man like KD?
Definitely, like I said, in the previous point, KD just commands quite a lot of attention. And of course, Devin Booker has been, one of the stars of this team was almost an MVP candidate last year. At the start of this season was, he not almost an MVP candidate. He was an MVP candidate. He was almost an MVP winner last year, finalist. And, having someone like KD next to him on the wing, just opens up quite a lot. Once you pass the ball around, you swing it around to KD, and he takes that dribble step into his sweet spot on the elbow of the free throw line. Defenses collapse. That just allows KD to get pass the ball, swing the ball around one or two times, find Devin Booker, who now has a driving lane, or a pick and pop, or just something right there for him. So he has the opportunity to actually choose what he wants to do and kind of toy with the defenses as well as having Chris Paul, who could kind of manipulate the defenses with his playmaking skills. So it opens up quite a lot of offense for him. And Monty Williams has to feel, this is a good problem to have. Try to understand where these guys need to fit on the court and just give them offensive touches that keep them happy and keeps the production up.
Yeah, Alistair, on Wednesday we did pose the question if Giannis is the face of the NBA now. Let's get your input quickly.
Yeah, Giannis will definitely be the face of the league. And I think one of the things that we have to understand where that's concerned, that's a combination of two things: excellence, accolades, and, just being able to follow a certain positive narrative. And Giannis, I think, he's grown up in the league. He's now a champion. He's one of the best 75 players of all time, a defensive player of the year. Accolades, he has that down pat. And I think every decade you see, a leader who is kind of just about to trail off into the end of his career. We're seeing that with LeBron James. You know, LeBron is in the twilight of his career. Steph Curry is still there, but of course he's probably going on into the end of his career. Giannis, I think, is right there to be one of the guys who has a personality, who's marketable, who has a shoe line, you know, that is really popular with Nike. You know, everything globally. He's a global ambassador, being from Greece and everything, coming from Africa as well, descended from there. So, yeah, he definitely has the opportunity to be the face of the league moving forward, at least the rest of the 2020s. And, you know, yeah, he's on his way, definitely.
Yeah, Alistair, let me just get very clearly what you're saying. Short answer here. Are you saying he is, or are you saying he can be?
I think he can be.
But he isn't.
Multiple who I think could be faces of the league. Whether he'd be the only one, I think that's hard to say, because there's so many talented guys, Luka, Ja Morant, and all these type of guys coming up. So he's one of them. I'm probably going to be a bit pressed to say he is the face of the league right now.
Who is the NBA poster boy right now?
I think it's still LeBron.
Okay.
You know, LeBron's...
You don't need to go any further, Alistair. That's fine. That's all we wanted to know.
Thank you.
All right, Alistair, we'll talk again soon, I'm sure. Before we wrap up with before we wrap up with the NBA, let's check in on those results now from Wednesday night. The Heat beaten the Southeast Division leaders they are by the 76ers. Pistons and Hornets losing to the Bulls and the Suns. The Knicks Celtics winning over the Nets and the Cavs. The NBA's number one team, the Bucks, 139-117 over the Magic. And there were wins for the Grizzlies, the Lakers and the Pelicans over the Rockets, Thunder and the Trailblazers. Back with more on the Sports Match Zone after this.